Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I've got a cup of tea with me, which means that it's going to be a chilled video. I've been recording for 5 hours today. It's currently 12 o'clock, so I started at 7 and I'm tired. I'm tired, that's why I need a cup of tea. I saved this video for last because I knew it'd be like a really nice, relaxing, like enjoyable video. So I wanted to just kind of round off with that. So yeah, it's been a long day. I've been doing a lot of recording for a lot of really exciting projects that I've got coming up that I'm going to tell you about in a second. But essentially what this video is today is me sharing I think there's like 7 or 8. I tried to get it down to 5, but it was too hard. My key learnings from my first year in business. It is worth saying that this business only started making money in Feb, so it's not technically my first year, but it's my first year of having this brand. It's the anniversary of this brand. I think it was the anniversary of the brand 2 days ago, actually. I didn't even realize. So it's very much going to be me just reflecting on it and sharing some of the key things that I've learned. And I really hope that anyone out there who is thinking about either starting a YouTube channel, becoming a content creator, or starting a business, I really think this video is going to be really useful to you, because I would have loved to have watched a video like this when I was first getting started. So let's just get straight to it. So the first thing that I want to say, and one of the first like key learnings, is you can really start a business with like no money. So I've had other businesses before. I've had like boutiques and stuff like that, and I've always had to invest my money into them, and I've always done it as cheap as possible, if I'm honest. I've always tried to cut, like, just not cut my losses, but try to be as frugal as I could when I was starting new businesses, right? So it's not like I invested a lot of money, but I've never created a business which has cost me so little in my entire life. And this is by far the most successful business that I've ever had. Right? I probably invested, I bought a £70 ring light, which is what I'm looking at right now. I'll put a link in my description. I bought like subscriptions to like TubeBuddy and other resources like that for my YouTube channel. Again, I'll link in my description. And that was basically it to create this brand. I should say that I also spent money on my Shopify site to actually create a website. But outside of that, that was pretty much all the money that I spent. So if you total that up in my first month, I reckoned I spent about £150, maybe not even that, maybe like £120 on my ring light, my Shopify, and a few other subscriptions. And then I used free resources to create my first ebook. I just used like PowerPoint and downloaded it as a PDF. And I used a free video editor for my video content. I used DaVinci Resolve. Again, I'll put a link in the description. And I used my old Samsung, which I'm still using now, but I'm going to get a proper camera soon. But I used my old Samsung Galaxy S10 to film all of my videos. Like, that is what I'm filming this video on right now. So you might get annoyed with my tea breaks, apologies. But if you think about it, that's not a lot of money. And yes, some of those costs were continuous, like my subscriptions and stuff. But for me to start a business with such a low investment, I just thought, this is wild. I also thought, why have I not been doing this before? It's crazy like how much more profitable it is. But yeah, that is one of the biggest things I learned. So if you're someone out there who doesn't have a lot of funds to start their business, please don't be deterred. Think about starting a business in a similar way that I did, potentially leading with content creation, like a YouTube channel, an Instagram channel, or packaging up and selling your services and your expertise. We all have something we can teach. We all have knowledge we can share. And usually the way of doing that is digital, which means it doesn't really cost us much money. I can create a whole video on this, by the way, if you're interested, on like how to start business with hardly any money, so let me know. The next thing that I learned, which I kind of knew of before, but I really know now, is how important representation is. And I've spoken about before, one of the main reasons why I started my YouTube channel was because I used YouTube to be inspired by entrepreneurs. I wanted to learn about running boutiques at the time. I wanted to learn about just business management. And whilst there is a variety of different people talking about these topics, I struggled to find people who either sounded like me, my good old British accent, or who looked like me, being a black woman. There are definitely other people in that space and they're incredible at it, but there aren't as many as I would have liked, if I'm being completely honest. And I just felt like if I could jump on this platform and share some content and be that person for someone else who can hear me or see me or whatever and find some similarity within me and them, which makes them feel better about whatever they're doing, or maybe even gets them to the point where they're ready to start their own channel, like, I just think that's so powerful. So that's another thing that I learned. And the reason why I know this even more now is because I get a lot of messages, and I absolutely love these messages. Love all the messages, but some of these are like incredible, where it's just people saying like, it's so nice to have someone who sounds like me or looks like me or whatever on YouTube talking about this stuff, because they've struggled to find a lot of people who talk about it before. So it's worth me saying, I'm not saying that no one else talks about it. Of course they do. But you know, I like to follow several different YouTubers just like you do. So I wanted more people talking about it. Another thing that I've really learned during this past year is the importance of community over competition. And I've been so lucky to have spoken to and received support and really lovely messages from fellow content creators within my niche. Like, I know people will probably think that my niche is really competitive, but I honestly think the opposite. I think people are so lovely. I think people are really nice. And, you know, the thing is with the type of content that I create, if people are going to buy into you, they're going to do so because they like your personality, I personally feel. So even if I talk about a competitor, it doesn't really matter if they end up buying from that competitor, because they did that because they vibed more with their personality, and that's totally okay, you know? So the importance of community over competition has definitely not been lost on me. And I've been very fortunate because I come from the marketing industry, and realistically, the marketing industry birthed this one. Like, is birthed the right? Birthed. That's a weird word. Basically, the content creator industry came from the marketing industry, right? Like, the two are go hand in hand. And because of that, I have so many other friends who are also content creators, who are within the marketing industry. Like, I know a lot of people. So whenever I had a question about something or I wanted someone to check something, I always had a community of people I could reach out to. And that's actually a big reason why I've created one of my latest projects, which is one of the things I was working on this morning, which is called the Creators Club, which has been in the making for so long. And I'm so excited that it's finally launched. By the time you're watching this, it will be live. So you'll actually be able to enroll. I'll put a link in the description. Essentially what it is a game-changing membership club for any content creators who want to learn how to consistently land brand partnership deals and just grow their overall online presence. So there's loads of different parts what are made up of it: masterclasses, group coaching sessions with myself. I even give all of the members a list of brands who are actively looking to recruit influencers every single month, which is obviously super valuable to everyone. So it's just this amazing community over anything else. So I wanted to make sure I created something as part of this business which allowed people to benefit from a community like I did when I first got started. So that's what that is. But yeah, community over competition. Another thing that I've learned is something that I've always known, but I've never tried it myself, and that is all around showing your face. And I know there's going to be people watching this video who's going to be like, oh, because so many people hate showing their face. And let me tell you something, so did I. I don't think I talk about this that often, like on my public channels, but I never used to like to show my face. So in my previous boutiques, I didn't show my face at all. I didn't show my face at all. In fact, all of the businesses I've ever had, I've never showed my face. I didn't tell anyone that I had those businesses. I kept them a secret because I was so scared of failing. And when you approach your business with that mindset, there's a pretty big chance they're gonna fail. I mean, I've been quite lucky because the most recent two didn't fail. But there's still a real, if you approach your business life with, oh, I don't want to do this because I might fail, it's going to be reflected in your success, in your failures, in all the decisions that you make if you approach your business with that mindset. So going back to showing your face, this business literally originated with me showing my face. There was no way around it, okay? There's no way around me not showing my face. So I just embraced it from the get-go, and I've continued to embrace it ever since. And if someone said, is there one thing what you think has led to this business being so successful compared to my other ones, it is the fact that I'm showing my face all the time. That is why I think this business is so much more successful. It is allowing me to bond with you guys on such a level, that and video content, I love video content, but I'm bonding with you guys on such a deep level, like it's wild, and the reason why I'm able to do that is because I'm showing my face. So if you take anything from this video, if you're still unsure on whether or not you can show your face on camera, I have a whole video about how to become more confident on camera. Please watch it, because I would love to see some of you guys starting to show your face on your stories or on your YouTube or wherever it is. So another thing that I've really learned from this past year with this brand is that compound interest or compounding interest is a legit thing. This whole idea, it's actually like a financial term, I believe, but it's basically the principle that you put in loads and loads of work and you will start to see the results and they will compound. So you might go through a certain phase where your growth is really slow, but you're putting in loads and loads of work, and then you'll start to see the results of all of your work and it will fly up. And that is essentially what happened to me. I'll put a graph here so you can see what my following has looked like over the past year. So that's my combined Instagram and YouTube following. And you can quite literally see where I wasn't making much traction and then everything kind of took off. And the reason why everything took off wasn't because I was suddenly working harder. It was because I was starting to see the results of all of the work I was doing before. And actually such a good example of this. In April 2021, at the start of April, so April the 1st, I had 739 subscribers. subscribers, and that had jumped quite a lot. So I'd already started to see a bit of growth in the recent days. But I had 739 subscribers. The 1st of April was also the day when I got very, very unwell. I won't go into detail about it, but I was bedbound, as in like bedbound. Could not go anywhere. Couldn't even go to the living room. Completely bedbound. And I was ill, was bedbound for about 12 to 13 days. And then it took me another 2 weeks to start working again and get back to normal. So I was ill for at least a month, and then kind of on and off a bit after that. But the whole month of April, I was very, very unwell. Like, I wasn't doing much. I wasn't recording videos. Like, I think I recorded one video towards the end of April, and I'm so skinny. But like, I wasn't working much. But yeah, bearing that in mind, the 1st of April, I had 739 subscribers. And by the end of April, I had 4,105. So I'd gained 3,500 subscribers during the month of April, when I was pretty much bedbound for majority of the month. And the reason why that happened was compound interest. Like, I wasn't uploading anywhere near as much. I had a few videos already prepped and scheduled, so I think I still managed to get out 4 videos that month, maybe, if that. But everything else, that growth was compounding interest from all of the work that I had done from November 2020 all the way up to April 2021, which allowed me to have a whole month off from my brand, and that still be one of the most pivotal months of my entire history of this brand. It was really where my growth started. So if that's not an example of compounding interest, I don't know what is. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh my God, I've been trying so hard to create so much content and I'm working so much and I'm not seeing my results, just trust me when I say that you will, and you'll be so thankful for all the hard work that you're doing now when those results start to come in. So another thing that I've learned is that the key to creating a successful business literally lies in listening to your audience. And this is something, I've spoke about this on a video before. It's a really old video, so I don't know if I'm going to link to it, but I spoke about this in a video before when I spoke about some of the mistakes that I've made in business. And one of the mistakes that I made in one of my very first businesses, so I must be like 23 or something, it was a really long time ago, and I created a candle brand and I tried to sell it to a retailer in Shoreditch, and then the retailer took the brand and then called me up to give me feedback and was really, really fair and was like, it's missing some information around this, I would tweak this parts of it and blah, blah, blah. And I hung up and I just cried because all I heard was, I'm not going to buy your candles. And I just cried. I sat and cried. It was pathetic. I sat and cried, but I was really young and I was just like putting so much pressure on myself, and I just got really upset. And I abandoned the entire business because of that phone call. The whole candle brand, dead, gone. Because I got that phone call, and that guy who was my audience, because I was trying to sell wholesale, he was my audience. I didn't listen to my audience. If I had listened to him and taken his feedback on board, the whole trajectory of that business could have been completely different. But instead, I shut down, I didn't listen to it, and I gave up, right? Obviously, I don't do that anymore. That was a really long time ago. Now, what I do and what I've done for this business is I listen to my audience so much. Like, I literally have a spreadsheet of the questions that you guys ask me via DM. I have a spreadsheet of questions that you guys ask me on my various channels, because it's my way of knowing what's bothering you in regards to content creation, entrepreneurship, social media. I know what's bothering you because I'm listening to what you're saying, okay? And that is how I've managed to grow the business. Every time I've created a new product, I've done so because you guys have asked for it. So I'm constantly listening to my audience, and that's allowing me to consistently create stuff that you guys actually want, which is what's resulting in a successful business. And it probably sounds really obvious to you, but like, I didn't do that before. I didn't. And that led to that business failing. So that's just a really big lesson that I've learned this time around. Okay, and the final thing that I have learned from my first year of being in business and having this brand is that you don't need a big audience to be successful. And you might be listening to that and thinking, oh, Jade, shut up, because I don't have a big audience, but my audience is no longer small, which I'm very, very grateful for. However, let's remember that graph, right? I have not had this following for a long time. This following is pretty much 6 months old, maybe 7 now. It's a pretty new following. Before that, I didn't have huge amounts of followers or subscribers, and I was still creating products and treating this like a business. I created my first ebook and launched it when I literally had a couple hundred subscribers, and I've got a whole video on that. I'll link to it up here so you can watch it and see the exact process and steps that I went through to create the ebook. But I launched that when I had a couple hundred subscribers, and I did it because in my opinion, I had enough of an audience to know what they wanted, which seems premature, but that was correct. I did know what people wanted. I noticed the pain point. And I was so confident that my channel would grow that I wanted to create a product that could grow with it. And now that ebook makes over £1,000 a month for my business, and it's almost completely passive because it's work that I've already done. So that is an example of, I think I called it reverse launching, where you're launching before you have the audience. Maybe I'll coin that term. Trademark it. But that is an example of how you don't have to let the fact that your audience isn't big yet hold you back from creating the products that you want to create, or building the business that you want in the future. Have faith in the fact that your channel will grow and your audience will grow, and start treating your business how you want to treat it in the future. Don't tell yourself, oh, I'm going to wait before I start building an email list until I've got X amount of subscribers. I'm going to wait until I release my first products until I have X amount of followers. I'm going to wait until I start pitching to brands until I have X amount of people in my audience. Stop waiting for stuff. Just go out there and get it now. And what will end up happening is that everything that you're doing and all these processes you're putting in place will grow with you, and it's going to fast track your business and allows you to reach new heights far quicker than you will if you just wait for these vanity metrics like followers and subscribers and likes to define whether or not you're ready to take that next step. And that is it for today's session. That also means that I could turn this ring light off. My 5 or 6 hour record of recording content is complete. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you found this useful. If you did, I recommend checking out this video. It is all about the exact moves and steps that I done quarter by quarter over the past year to become a full-time content creator. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I will see you in my next video.